A few people have asked me what is the difference between a regular clover and a plant that we call the shamrock, which we wear on St. Patrick's Day. And to be honest, there isn't actually very much difference at all. It's just a particular species of clover, and there's lots of it here. It's a lovely little thing, and you can see it here. It's called yellow medic, and there's a few different of these little clovers, and there's a black medic as well. The yellow medic has yellow flowers, small yellow flowers. There's none in flower at the moment, although depending on the weather they can be flowering around now on St. Patrick's Day. But it's a beautiful plant, there's lots of it. It doesn't have markings on the leaves like other clovers. Like some clovers really have impressive markings. Like here's this one here, there's a red clover, or a white clover actually, sorry, and it has those, you can see those sort of white markings on the white clover. Here's one that's a bit better, easier to see. It has sort of white rings around it, whereas the yellow medic is plain most of the time, like it doesn't have anything fancy in it. It's a more tufty plant, and it also has rounder leaves, as you can see there. Of course it can grow near the clover, but it prefers rockier kind of ground. Clovers prefer like the white clover, which you'll know because there's lovely white round flower heads, whereas the yellow medic is only tiny little dotty kind of flowers on little stalks. Beautiful all the same, but very small. And then of course you have the red clover, which has huge flowers, which are about the size of a bonbon or even bigger, and it's lovely and pink. But there isn't really a lot of difference between them. They're just different species of clovers. Now I personally think the story fits well with a clover because St. Patrick's supposed to have just picked it up in the middle of summer in a field and just taken it out and shown the king, you know, and explained how the Trinity worked, that they were just basically different facets of the one God. But bear in mind, St. Patrick's supposed to have arrived in Ireland in the summer, not at this time of the year. There's a whole other reason why St. Patrick is associated with March 17th. There's really nothing much to do with St. Patrick at all. It's and it wasn't arbitrary either. It was to kind of deal with a different problem in the church, which was they had another one of those gods that wouldn't go away. And the god they couldn't get rid of had his feast day on the 17th of March, and that god was Bacchus or Dionysus or Dionysus or Dionysius, depending on your source. And many of the gods were found across Europe, and they had different names in different places, but the god was exactly the same in every other way. He was worshipped the same way. And on the feast of Bacchus or Dionysius, or what actually happened was people got roaring drunk and partied all day on the 17th of March. Later on the church put St. Patrick's Day over that, but guess what, it didn't really change it. St. Patrick's Day is still synonymous with partying and drunkenness, and sadly with synonymous with Ireland in that way as a direct result.